for dark nights.
Suicide Watch. Written by E. Matthews. Narrated by Brendan Dean. Featuring Steve Taylor, Rebecca Peason, and Sungwon Cho. Produced by Luke Hodgkinson. Music by Brandon Boone. The light shining through the window burns my eyes, even though it is muted by the clouds. It's almost like a spotlight shining straight on my face. I hear the rustling of trees and the faint, soothing melody of rain on the glass. I don't know why I love the rain so much. I guess it was the only sound in the house I could listen to when my dad was beating my mother. Her screams still echo in my head. The inescapable sound of his repeated strikes still seemed to reverberate through the halls and off the hard wood. They found me with the rope around my neck and had me committed to Hillcrest, the local crazy house. I'm under suicide watch, which is not exactly the place to be on a Saturday. To be honest, I'd rather be dead. But look how that went. You can't always get what you want. Orderlies keep shuffling by, as if something is going on down the hall in Sophie's room. I leave my bed and make my way to the door, hearing more and more nurses and patients moving around the hall. I hear them being reassured that nothing is happening, but I see through their comforting lie. I can tell something bad has happened. So I poke my head out and look. If nothing were going on, there would not be 7 people huddled outside of Sophie's door. I see one nurse in tears. I recognize her. She's the redhead who spent a lot of time with Sophie. I always liked that nurse. She was pretty, and not to be that guy, but damn, she could be a model. That aside, the redhead was a little more patient than the other nurses. Sophie was an especially difficult case, as any schizophrenic would be. It took more than a calm smile, a stupid puzzle, or a game of checkers to take care of her. I imagine that the two were friends on the outside, maybe even family. As I step out into the hall, a male nurse looks at me and points back behind me, silently demanding that I step back into my room. But this isn't a dictatorship, and I'll take a fork in the ass before I take orders from a nurse.
Back to your room, Bobby.
He finally demands after enduring the coldest stare I could produce with my thick eyebrows. It's Robbie, I reply, although I'm not sure he knows the difference. He doesn't seem too bright to me.
Listen.
He steps closer to me, an admonishing look on his smug face.
It's important that you just stay in your room for now. We need to take care of something.
I ponder this for a moment, as his gaze shifts from that of an authoritarian to one of actual concern, perhaps even regret. I know if I say what I am about to say too loudly, it could cause a panic. I'm sad, but not crazy. I can hold it together. So out of consideration for the other patients, I lean in a little closer and speak quietly. Sophie's dead, isn't she? The look on his face expresses both anguish and discomfort at the same time. I am not stupid. If people crowd around a live patient, it could cause a lot of problems. It could overwhelm them, scare them, and cause their paranoia to intensify, culminating in a violent fit. No. Sophie couldn't handle that many people at one time. She was dead. The male nurse retreats with a sad look on his face and just walks away. He can't protect me from anything. Not when I can figure it out on my own. He knows I'm not a gossip either. I keep to myself mostly. I can't help but smile as he turns his back to me. It feels like a victory, like a triumph over an enemy. I understand why he's trying to contain me at first. What they should have done was put Sophie in a body bag on a gurney. They should have taken Sophie away before it caused a fuss. I don't know why they didn't. I walked towards Sophie's room. Schizophrenia aside, she was a sweet girl. Sophie was young. She was maybe 19, 3 years older than me. I remember a conversation I once tried to have with her about the economy. I had so many solutions and ideas. She didn't quite understand, so she changed the subject and started talking about cats. I wouldn't exactly call her my friend, but my stomach is still sick as I approach the door. It is a decision I regret immediately. I turn away from the disgusting mess and Ralph all over one of the nurse's scrubs. The redhead grabs me gently by my shoulders and moves me away. In any other situation, I would have pulled away from her grasp, but I wanted to leave this time. I only stared at it for a few seconds, and I know that the image will never leave me. It's like she exploded or turned inside out. Sophie's walls and ceiling drip with blood and chunks of flesh. Her intestines are roped around the room loosely, and her heart is in the hand of her skeleton. The pictures of cats on her wall are coated in gore and peeling off, and her skin is it's just gone. I understand now why they haven't done anything yet. They have no idea what to do. None of this makes sense. How could someone do this? And so quietly? Isn't it impossible? It takes a few minutes before I stop vomiting. I never imagined that this would be why the redhead nurse and I would be alone in the bathroom. It is sickening to even think about the fact that the mess in here was once a person. Sophie was a girl who loved cats. She loved drawing with markers and crayons like a kid. I look up from the toilet, my face red, veins bulging from my forehead. My face is dripping with snot and drool. I sit on the floor. The nurse is to my left with her hand on my shoulder. Her name tag with a picture of her face says her name is Melissa Wolf. I wipe my face in the sleeve of my white shirt and hang my head.
Are you all right, Robbie?
She asks me that, of all things. No, I reply sharply. My voice is nearly gone, but with what is left of it, I continue. I don't know what to make of it. The image plays through my head more and more, getting brighter, more vivid every time I blink. I see Sophie's shredded remains strewn everywhere in the room. Needless to say, I can't sleep tonight. Not without meds anyway. Melissa, the redheaded nurse, gave me some pills before bed. I didn't know what they were, and I didn't care. I just threw them down my throat and shut up about it. As I lay here, hours after Melissa has gone, I hear a scratching sound coming from right outside of my door. I jump from my bed and slam my back to the wall. I shout, cursing whatever is on the other side of that door. Slowly, I slide down the wall and sit with my head in my knees, shaking in what? Fear? No, I think this is anger. I am angry at whatever took Sophie. I am angry at the fact that I ever survived the noose. I can't help but think, maybe I never wanted to die. Maybe I just wanted revenge. I transition from the floor to my feet and furiously open the door to find A cat. Just a cat. It's small and black, looking at me with its eyes half closed. Its tail sways left and right a couple times. It meows and runs down the hall in the direction opposite of Sophie's room. I step into the hall for the first time since the incident. I look to my left, towards Sophie's room, and hang my head in despair. After a moment of silence, I turn right and see the cat scratch at another door and look back at me, so I walk towards it. The door that the cat is scratching on provides access to a stairwell. It leads me down to the basement where the laundry room is. Or so I've heard. As I pass the front desk heading to the door, I have an eerie feeling. The place is empty. The nurses are gone. Usually, they have at least a few on staff at all times, but where are they? Moving slowly, constantly looking around me for any sign of people, I reach the door. The cat scratches at it one more time and then backs up to let me through. So I open it, and we head down into the basement. We go down a flight of stairs, through the laundry room and into what looks like a secondary infirmary. Is this normal? I don't know much about hospitals, but they usually keep their patients above ground. And this place is really clean. It's stocked with medicine and new equipment. I look to my left and see the cat perched atop a table. Beside it is a document inside of a file folder. I imagine that is why the cat is here. It is signaling and guiding me. I have no clue how it is possible, but I imagine I may find answers if I keep moving. So I grab the file and open it. It is Sophie's patient file. It has her full name, Sophie Ann Bishop. It says that she was a paranoid schizophrenic. Then it says the impossible. Cause of death, suicide. Whatever happened to Sophie, it clearly was not suicide. Nobody rips their own heart out of their chest, wraps their entrails around the room and self-destructs. Something's wrong here, very wrong. I noticed the cat leap from the table and jump to a counter. Next to the sink, taped to a cabinet door, is a letter of some sort. It has the name of the hospital, with the logo at the top. It's signed by Dr. Bill Marcus. I know Dr. Marcus, he's a good man. He seems very caring and always makes jokes to lighten the mood. I grab the note from the cabinet door and read it quietly to myself.
These incompetent nurses here at Hillcrest Mental Facility have absolutely no regard for procedure. They become emotionally involved with the patients. In the face of certain events, have no clue as to how they should react. They're not here to be their friends. They're here because our patients are sick. They can't handle the real world safely. The nurses treat them like real people. It's just wrong. The other day, I spoke with a spiky-haired young man with a near-erotic obsession with burning things. He says fire is essential to existence and loves to spread it in order to pay proper respect to the illuminating wonder that is fire. He worships fire like it's Baal. I can assure you, none of these people are capable of any normal way of thinking. I've subjected them to a new medication intended to alter their behavior. Well, the drug remains to be named, but after the success we've had with a paranoid schizophrenic named Sophie, I firmly believe that this new medication is a real game changer. Even our most violent and resilient subjects have become like doorstops. The human trials have been a complete success, and I will be secretly using the drug on half of the people within the facility.
What the hell? I can hardly breathe. It feels like I've been punched right in the stomach. We're not people here at Hillcrest. We're experiments. As I consider the letter for a moment, I recall Tom, the spiky-haired young man that the doctor referred to. Tom was an arsonist, And a good one at that. He and I recently had a discussion about fire. Dr. Marcus was right. He practically worshipped the stuff. Tom's brother snuck in some matches for me once so I could smoke. I don't know how they got them in through security, but I don't think I'd like the answer. I put a cigarette in my mouth. I am shaking so hard, I can barely light the damn thing. For whatever reason, I am afraid that I have taken the drug. I don't feel docile. I never was easily manageable anyway. I feel like if I see Dr. Marcus right now, I will tear him a new one. We're experiments. We're nothing but experiments. Then, I hear a loud stomping. I hear the rattle of thick, heavy chains and a faint groaning. Something big is headed my way. I put out the cigarette on my tongue and swallow it. I can't leave any real trace of me being here, and you can definitely smell the smoke. It is the most disgusting thing I've ever done, but I do it again. I hide in a small cabinet and close the door most of the way. I leave only a small crack to see out of. I have no idea where the cat is. The chains, the stomping of heavy feet, they get closer, closer, closer still until I can finally see him. It is a large man wrapped in gauze. He has large chains in his hand and around his shoulders. His face is riddled with stitches. His eyes are black and shark-like, lacking any trace of humanity. I can tell that this man has no soul. As he looks around, I can see he has no nose. I'd call that dumb luck. Eventually, after flipping over some tables and breaking everything at eye level, he turns and leaves. I wait until I can no longer hear him. I then slowly open the door and exit the cabinet. I am curious about what is going on in this hospital. Something is very wrong, and I know I have to leave. My curiosity gets the better of me. I search around to find the cat, but it's gone. I look around. Behind a broken glass cabinet, I notice an opening. It's a secret passageway. I push the cabinet the best I can. There's just enough room to squeeze into the opening. I shuffle through the glass and broken metal, getting small shards caught in my slippers. Then the lights go out. I move faster, and in my panic I trip, falling into what feels like a cavern of some kind. When I finally land, I feel a sharp pain as something punctures my left side. I feel it with my hand. It's a bone. It's not one of mine, though. I pull it out and feel blood trickle down my waist. It isn't a very deep wound, but it hurts. I need to see how bad it is, so I take out my matches again and light one. I pull up my shirt to reveal the wound. I am relieved to see it is just a bad scratch. When I look up, I'm stunned, frozen in fear. I stare Sophie in the face. She is like a ghost, with lifeless eyes rimmed in black. Her pupils are tiny. Where her eyes had once been green, they were now without color. Her face is more pallid than I recall. There is no doubt in my mind. This is Sophie's specter. Her mouth seems to be dripping thin, green ooze. The only things I recognize are her dark hair and the marks on her forehead from her habit of slamming her face into walls. She lifts her hand. She is holding 5 white pills, and slowly she looks down away from me. Her hand edges its way to my face. I try, but I am unable to speak. For whatever reason, she wants me to take these pills. I summon the courage to smack her hand away. As I do, I fall backwards into a pile of human skulls and bones. I freaking clumsily fumble about, trying to stand. When I am on my feet, she is once again right in front of me. This time, she was right in my face. She tries to push the drugs in my mouth. I cry a little as I yell at her, "No! I won't become like you. I have to stay alive." The words stop me. I step back, still crying at the realization. I never wanted to die. I just wanted a different life. Maybe even a second chance. A fresh start someplace far from here. Her ghost fades in a foggy flurry as large chains wrap around my neck and pull me down, flat on my face. I slam my head hard. I feel my cheekbone crack and my eye socket crumble a little. My nose gushes. I put one hand on the ground and try to stand. The chains pull again, and I am flung forward towards the large man I avoided in the infirmary. He grabs my throat over the chains and lifts me in the air. I kick my feet as I lose consciousness. I come to in a metal chair to discover that I am restrained by leather straps. I can't see out of my right eye. I can't smell anything or hear out of my right ear. My vision is blurry and my entire body is numb. My legs are numb and unresponsive. My heart speeds up as I hear lighter footsteps to my left. I hear a medical tray swing up next to me. When I hear the frighteningly warm laughter, I know who it is. "Dr. Marcus?" I ask, quietly trying not to choke on the blood in my mouth.
Well,
He replies,
look at you. Had a nice trip, I see. Sorry about the big guy. He can play a bit rough sometimes. What he did to that Sophie girl, it was just a bit much, wasn't it?
"Why are you doing this?"
It's simple, kid.
He moves the tray in front of me, and I see an eye in a jar. I just know it is mine.
You see? No pun intended. The people here aren't real people. They don't have real emotions, and nobody really cares about them. Most of our patients get dumped here and left to rot. No visitors, no friends, no family. They have nobody. I have an opportunity to be an innovator. I can forever alter the way these medical proceedings are executed. I can change the world. And you?
He grabs a scalpel from the tray, plays with it in his hand, and sets it back down. I try to wiggle out of the chair, but I appear to be paralyzed. I am helpless. Then he laughs. With such malice, he may as well be Satan himself. We were all blind to it. I scream as he grabs a large pair of scissors.
You tried to leave this world. I studied your file. You tried to hang yourself. But Mommy forgot her keys. You don't deserve this world, you crybaby. No one would be surprised if you, well, I don't know, snuck out for a smoke and jumped in front of a truck.
Why can't I move? What have you done to me?
Well, for starters, I removed your legs.
He cuts something with the scissors. As his hand comes into sight, I can see he has taken a few of my fingers.
And then there are these.
He laughs once more, but much louder. Fear burns in me. If I wasn't sedated, I still wouldn't be able to move. I can tell that my head is strapped down as well. It almost makes sense to me now. I could never get inside of his head enough to understand why he's doing this. Still, it all falls into place. Unfortunately, I can do nothing. I watch in silence as he tears my body apart. He hacks my remaining fingers, and then an entire hand. It's almost like he wants to create more monsters like the freak that killed Sophie. I understand now why Sophie wanted me to take the pills. They would have killed me. It was a courtesy. But now I'm doomed to be like the large man with all of the stitches. Marcus will use the medicine to control me, and I won't care. I'm nobody. I was just going to die anyway.